Welcome to PMILIC Voices, where your voice matters. My name's Annette Fontana, and I'm honored to be the host of this very first premiere episode. Well, the reason why we're doing this is very simple. We want to bring the community of the Project Management Institute's Long Island chapter together. And a sense of community is very important, as I'm sure you all know. One of the things that we would like to do in this moment is give the heart of the PMI to all of you. What we feel is what you feel. One of the reasons why this has happened is because of your voices and your input and wanting to be more engaged. So hopefully this podcast will do that for you. Now, before we get into anything else, let me just give you a little bit of me. I have been in project management and cybersecurity for, about a quarter of a century now. And I really feel the passion when it comes to doing good work through project management. And obviously, if you've ever met me, a little bit of crazy, but hopefully you like that. Anyway, let me start off. With this premiere podcast, I have a very special guest. Not only is he the Vice President of Marketing and Public Relations, but he is also somebody who I've had the honor of working with in the past, Mr. Craig Reino. Craig, thanks for joining.
Thank you, Annette. It's a pleasure to be here. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Craig Reino, as Annette said, Vice President of Marketing and Public Relations. I look forward to being your first guest here on this podcast. And one of the things that's critical to me is making sure we evolve, experiment, and connect to our audience with this new platform.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. One of the reasons, like you and I have discussed this in the past, is that we have listened to the people about what they would like to see. And the good news is some of the changes that are being involved here get to come through marketing. Being a member of the marketing team, we get to run with it. Now, if anybody was either listening or attended the November on-site meeting, you saw a whole slew of initiatives that the marketing team is releasing, and we're pretty much excited to bring those to you. And we'll talk about those in future episodes. So now I get to interview you, which is going to be a lot of fun.
I'm excited.
I'm sure you are. So basically, Craig, first off, we know Vice President, Marketing and Public Relations. It's a very impressive title.
Sure.
And we also know, and we're just going to mention this, so you will also an ADO lead for a major company.
That's right, new role.
And it's very exciting. Yes, not for nothing, people. He actually got this role a week and a half ago. So he is fresh into the throes of a brand new, exciting world.
Yeah, exciting times.
Very exciting
times.
For it. Yeah, I try to limit the number of memes I send you on a regular basis. So, but what I want to know is, and I'm sure a lot of people, they've talked to you. I think they all understand. But the people who don't, what drives this role for you? I know, full disclosure, I've known you for about 4 years now, and I know how hard you work and the multiple things you do.
Sure.
Not just in your day-to-day, but with the PMI especially. I know the passion you have for it. What drives you with that? And do you ever get any sleep?
Yeah, believe it or not, I do. I'm very well rested, and I think it's kind of embedded in your question in the fact that one of the things that the PMI organization allows for me is through my, and I'm not going to age myself completely, 20-something years of experience.
Oh, honey, I aged myself. You can age yourself.
It gives me the platform or a platform to bring some of those lessons that I've learned in the variety of different organizations and industries I've been a part of to the table and share my knowledge with audiences that can appreciate the time and effort that it takes to not only maybe troubleshoot code or plan for campaigns if you're in the marketing space, or launch a new product and talk about what it takes to get it documented, built, tested, and ultimately launched.
No, I get that. And I can appreciate your connection and you wanting to emphasize that and its visibility. And I think a lot of people can see that you're clearly passionate about making sure that every member feels valued in the PMI. I've seen it firsthand. I know a lot of people have experienced it firsthand, and it definitely is great. Your background in transformation and strategy really can shine through what we do with the PMI, and that's something that I know you want to bring to the membership as well as the general chapter. So hearing that your commitment amplifies voices has me kind of curious here. What is the spark that made you say yes to launching this podcast, or was it just the insanity of this, having to work with it and wanting to have a place for outlet? But seriously, I mean, beyond the silliness, I want to know what you hope that listeners are going to take away from this, and what you're looking to bring about with this type of connection.
Sure. No, it's a wonderful segue into something that is very important to me. It's a platform where, you know, we can bring not just my voice, the next person who we get to volunteer for this conversation, if you will. What I've said to the team, maybe in several different ways, is one of the things that brings the biggest value to the PMI organization that I want to be a part of is not just how I see it, but how does the person to my left and right see what we're looking at in the same light and understanding, and bring to the surface those skill sets in their own way that helps them also grow and evolve, in not only for the sake of PMI, but even in their own careers.
I really love that you feel that it's a way to connect to everyone, because I feel the same way. You know that very much. And I also like that your hope that each episode is going to help someone find that new idea is a big thing, because we're not just going to be sitting here talking about the standards and practices and all that, although they're very important. I want to make that very clear here. It's very important. But I also want to know that people who have an idea, they're going to be able to bring it here. And or even if not to the podcast, bring it to the chapter. Sure. Every voice needs to be respected and heard. And the fact that you're emphasizing this in your role as VP is really a big thing. So what I'm curious about on top of all of that, and this is going to be like one of those questions you hear in standard interviews. Yeah. You've had some time in PMI. You've been there for a while, and you've been vice president for over a year now. Yep. What's the proudest moment you have out of everything? Is it cheating to say this moment right here? No, I mean, it is definitely one of the things. I don't have the dollar for you, but
no, this is one of the highlights. What I'll say is, believe it or not, our last strategy session we had with the board, I found in the most sincere, heartfelt way, like we're really starting to come together and get things done, and that was, you know, and you'll hear this a lot in the industry, the storming, the norming, and the forming of teams. I feel like we're finally getting there, and that's probably one of my proudest moments, is to feel like I'm actually part of something where bringing back to the community, especially the Long Island community of all of our membership, and bringing something that they can appreciate and really kind of latch onto.
So you really felt this strong connection, especially during the strategy meeting, which I know you all had last month. Yeah. Kind of like, you know, an Avengers movie, you know, Avengers Project Management Edition, assemble, you know, and have the people who are running the show as enthusiastic as the people who are part of the show, and that's the amazing part, and it's great to hear that the mindset of our board is as equally excited about these coming changes and transmutations as is the chapter membership. So I'm, you know, really absolutely thrilled to hear about that. Now, thinking about the new members, I want to know what kind of advice you would like to give them to get involved, besides joining the amazing marketing team, because the marketing team is the best place of all. But and I'm not biased at all.
I second that.
But seriously, we got new members. We know that we have new members from all different walks of life. And what advice would you give them
Sure.
with regard to engagement, with regard to being part of the chapter?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So in this answer, I'm going to kind of take a slightly different approach where I'm not going to shamelessly plug we need volunteers.
We need volunteers.
But I'm going to come at this from, to your point about new members and whether you're just engaging or embarking upon your CAPM journey or you're many years into and you're ready for your PMP. It's all about time management. And I know that sounds cliche, especially in a project management world. But, a little bit at a time goes a very long way. And that, whether you're talking, like I said, whether you're talking about going for your CAPM or your PMP, if you can just find the time to carve out in your days, you'll find that those little bits of dedication go a very long way. And then lastly, and important kind of to make a point, if someone does feel like they do want to volunteer, I want to say, don't feel overwhelmed, because I know we all have a lot going on in our lives.
Definitely.
It's just a couple of minutes a week, a couple of minutes per month, whatever you can spare will really go a long way in getting our whole organization down those roads.
I like that. That's really encouraging advice.
Yeah.
The participation is key. Yes. And it doesn't have to be 24/7. If you have the opportunity to be extensively involved, obviously good on you. We're glad to have it. Yeah. But would most appreciative, even if it's only 5 minutes a week, giving an update, submitting an article, submitting a post for our social media platforms. It would be something that we could definitely work on. And we definitely want to have involvement. So even if they just want to sit in the back of the room and, if we're getting ready for an event and fold flyers, and
sure.
that's as involved as you can be, we'll take it. It's greatly appreciative. And I'm looking straight into you to say, please don't think that you have to be this crazy to ride the ride. Well, maybe I should just go this crazy to ride the ride. But it definitely helps. And, everybody's voice matters. That's a big thing. I know we've talked about that a lot. Everybody's voice really matters. Now, all the kumbaya aside, what have you seen as the biggest challenge or concern facing project management in general today? Are there trends or changes that you're seeing come down the pipe?
Yeah.
And, the scary stories, the propaganda, I know can be amazingly big in this type of environment. So what do you see as an issue, or I'll be more politically correct here, a challenge to a project manager?
No, it's great question. In the fact, and I almost have to say, I do a disservice if I didn't somehow sneak the AI into this conversation. So
Please.
I'm going to do that here, because not only is it a part of my almost daily life in conversations that I have around the workspace, but even last month when we did the whole presentation about AI, I think it's very important for people to understand that, don't be afraid of new tools. And one of the things I said last month during our presentation was about, and again, not aging myself, late 90s when the webmaster job was coming around and everybody thought that the internet was going to be the end of so many careers. I made a very important point to say, well, that webmaster job today is now probably 40 or 50 different jobs. So it's just brand new areas of development and operation that didn't exist 10, 15, 20 years ago, as it were. So there's a lot of upside to that. The other thing, if you want to talk about challenge and issues from a day-to-day perspective, I'll cite my own words in this interview where you talk about storming and forming and norming teams. That's really what gets you through the day-to-day stuff, is knowing that you have a solid partnership, whether it be with a team or person in your workspace that you can really grow and evolve with. That's how things really get done.
Yeah, that's a pretty vivid picture with the evolving landscape between tighter resources, technology. The importance of human connection is a big thing. And while a lot of us, including our audience, watches this stuff through a screen as opposed to being in front of a live studio audience, which is what we're working toward one day. It's the matter is the human connection is a big thing. We all get so stuck into behind our desks and behind our screens and in front of our keyboards, and it becomes overwhelming by being underwhelming. It's a 6 of 1, and it's something we all have to really remember. I mean, and let's talk between and nowadays, because I remember days where projects could go almost a decade based on their development. Real waterfall. Well, you did not want to mark your age yet, but I think there was still covered wagons when I was doing project management. But between that and the evolving of AI and having to discern that AI is a tool for the human, but it's still the human interaction that needs to happen. It's almost as if, and I laugh at this because I think I said this to somebody last month, that today's project manager needs to be wearing like a superhero cape. Maybe we can get like PMI uniforms with capes and just a suggestion.
I don't know how that goes over in the office.
Yeah, I know. But all right, so let's go back and balance out this conversation with a little bit of joy.
Sure.
What has your greatest satisfaction been with the PMILIC? I know that's a tall order because I know you've had a lot of good moments and everything ebbs and flows, but I'm sure something kind of stands out.
Yeah, no, it does. And to again highlight not only this new platform that we're launching here, and also to go back to what I said about our board members and our success last month, I'll say having the opportunity to work with some very interesting and talented individuals and learn more about them and give me perspective on things that we can do, again, in a local facility in the Long Island area. That's been a huge advantage to even in myself, who I do consider myself to be a little bit of an introvert. It's given me an opportunity to get to know people that I probably wouldn't have gotten to know otherwise. That's probably a huge win if I could put one in the book.
No, that's definitely a beautiful picture that you paint because, I mean, let's face it, we're all coming together.
Yeah.
I think I have always said in one aspect or another that project management is 10% of the project and 90% of celebrating the wins that we get along the way from start to finish. I know I personally, anytime, no matter how big or small the project is, even if it's an internal project to myself that, I got to get my emails organized, I got to get my files organized, and I finish that, that feels good. That really feels good. To be able to do that and impart it to others makes it much more worthwhile. So I'm definitely with you in this. So put on your Karnak seeing into the future hat. And let me know how you see the role of community evolving for project managers in the coming years. I mean, what do you think will set great project leaders apart from others?
Well, if I can quote a song, the only thing that remains the same is everything changes. And to that question, that would be my only and best response is staying on top of the tools that are in front of you. And again, I'll admit that's a selfish answer because I am a tools-oriented individual. So maybe that's not everybody's answer, but that's certainly mine. And when you stay abreast of those tools that are out there and evolving, it helps you keep a leg up and stay at least with the curve, if not ahead of it.
Be like water.
Yeah.
Be like water and flow, because there are so many changes. And just within the past 5 years or so, maybe our technology has gone leaps and bounds ahead of what we used to have. I mean, remembering that I have a cybersecurity background, I go back in a world where cybersecurity and information security was just compliance.
Right.
And it has gone leaps and bounds. It is mountain climbing time.
Yeah. And
so it becomes a thing. So one of the last questions I think I have for you is there a lesson? Let's open the book of Craig.
Oh boy.
And is there a lesson or a story of something that kind of like shifted and was the paradigm for your moment in project management? Like, something that you learned from?
So I can answer the question with a, believe it or not exactly.
Not exactly.
Me being so black and white as I tend to be, there's a gray area.
Wow.
And I'm saying that because when I first meet people or teams, the way that I introduce myself is I grew up a software developer who kind of got good at managing projects and therefore got into project management. So that wasn't a switch that got flipped one day. It was more or less happenstance that I stumbled into. And if someone told me back in my earliest days that this is what I would be doing in 2025, I probably would have laughed at them to say that, no, you're crazy. 'Cause I'm going to be all about programming. And here I am.
No, I get it. It's all about evolution. And by the way, thank you very much for sharing that, because I know that's the painful, poignant questions. I should have like a box of Kleenex or something for the next guest. But what I take away from that is how engaged your team conversations are. And that's something that I want to emphasize. Engaging in the team, engaging in the group, like for the sake of the chapter, is something that is very, very powerful, because it's not just leading, but it's also learning.
Yeah.
No great leader, no matter what title they have, no matter what position they have, cannot lead unless they're willing to learn.
Servant leadership is absolutely a thing. That is a key part of this.
Okay, so now we get to the fun one. And this is our last question, ladies and gentlemen. I really feel the tension building. Tell our divine audience something that they wouldn't know about you.
Oh gosh. Something
I mean, I got a list,
know
but if you
about
want me to share it, this great.
Okay. No, I've got one.
Tell me.
So, and this surprises some people, but maybe not. I happen to like paintball. And yeah, I know it's because introvert and behind the desk, it's you got to find some ways to spend some of that pent up energy. So between paintball, kayaking, I'll leave it at those two for now. There are others, but I almost believe that no one would believe me if I said it. So I'll just stay there.
Well, again, spoiler alert. Again, I've known Craig for a while, so I can honestly attest to the fact that he is a paintball person. He is a kayak person, and since he did not share, I will not share his other adventurous type stuff. But I will confirm to you that Mr. Craig Reino is an adrenaline junkie. And it shocked the hell out of me when I first heard it. So it's so funny. And it's like people look at me, I've got this bubbly personality, and since we're sharing, people do not understand when they come near my desk or come my car, if I'm playing music in the car, and hear things like
death metal.
People are like, what are you listening to? Oh, the new Lamb of God. What? And then, by the way, Ice Nine Kills, also another major. But so now that you've all heard these dirty secrets about us, we're going to wrap it up at this point, or get ready to wrap. So first off, Craig, I want to thank you very much for being part of this. The reason why this podcast has been born is from a simple idea, and it's our chapter's greatest asset is its people, because we want to hear from you, your ideas, your thoughts, what you're doing within project management, and how we can help others. I feel that together we can make this series a big hit. One of the things before we wrap up, I just also want you to know that at the end of each platform going forward, we are going to be doing all different types of announcements with regard to chapter events, community events, all sorts of things that will be involved for the chapter. And that's why we want to hear from you. So please write down this email address, ideas@pmilic.org. Again, that's pmilic.org, or ideas@pmilic.org. This way, You send us your information, and we make sure it gets onto the podcast, to the social media, to the newsletter, to the website. Everything that we do will be done for you. Also, in future episodes, we're looking to hear from other project managers, different worlds, thought leaders, and even everyday change makers. We're looking to discuss, because there are people, as we all know, who may not be project management official, but they deal with project management. There's all different types of takes and all different types of worlds. So we really are looking forward to having those moments. It's going to be a space for all of us to connect, learn, and grow. Also, as we move forward, you're going to see even more energy. We're going to be having different locations. Speaking about locations, I want to thank the Lindenhurst Moose 1421 off of South Broadway for giving us this opportunity to do this podcast in this venue. Now, we're going to also be doing live shots from conferences and maybe even a chapter meeting or two, or definitely a chapter event. But the Lindenhurst Moose Lodge and what you're seeing here as a pseudo set will be the predominant. Also, Craig, I want to thank you very much for being part of this with me, and in future episodes, my co-host.
It's a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to it.
So do I. I am looking for a lot of laughs between us and our guests, and hopefully some good information as well.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all for this episode. This has been PMILIC Voices, where your voice matters. I'm Annette Fontana, and thank you for joining.